they've done Jace top lane whenever they generally put a carry in the top side of the map.
Got bamboozled.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm guessing, I mean, when we look at Revenge, one of his best champions is Viego. It's one of his most played. He has had a lot of success on it. And I think when we think about, what he's looking to do in the game, I don't think it's necessarily about getting a huge advantage top. I think he's looking more for champions who are going to be useful post lane, and if they're comfortable in playing around and can play 1-3-1 style around effectively. So I personally like the pivot here.
I've completely forgotten about the Syndra bot side.
All right, y'all, I got a question. I think Dignitas won draft, and I saw Twitch chat agreed with me, which makes me sad because I don't want to agree with Twitch chat. But they did. What do you guys think? Who's winning?
I think it's a really hard draft to play for Dignitas, IMT rather. I do think that Dignitas draft is a lot easier, and I think it plays to their strength.
Oh, baby, I love myself a ballyhoo. That's what those light shows are called. I learned that last week. Didn't know that beforehand, didn't know what producers were telling me, but now I do. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the playoffs. We're here in our second week of action in 2021. I'm Captain Flowers. I'm joined by Azael, and we already got the teams looking for blood here at level 1. About to check into the brush here. All right, they're going to find Destiny, who jumps over the wall. Revenge won't be able to do the same. Has to spend his flash. Yusui waiting in the wings, ready to go in here, perhaps. Throws out that room prison that's just a slow for now. Not going to get a whole lot else out of that one, so Immortals will walk away, but it costs Revenge his flash.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice little invade by Dignitas. Because Syndra was on the bot side, Immortals couldn't really fully contest. It would have been a 4v5 there. Dignitas knows they have a strong level 1. They go in. Zach at level 1, not very threatening compared to the Xin Zhao, so it's going to be an interesting game. One of the things I really did agree with Kaizen talking on the desk, and this is why I actually like that they move Lucian towards mid, is that Zach with weak lanes is so vulnerable to invades.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
If you're going to play Zach, you've got to have dominating lanes, because this guy is going to get invaded, is going to get punished by champions like Xin Zhao, like Akaadian, who is an aggressive player. So this does help protect him. They have the Syndra to shove in bot, they have the Lucian to push in mid, and that should keep him safe and keep him farming.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you enjoy seeing the pivot to play around the weaknesses and strengths of the champion like that. And speaking of those decisions being made for the side of Immortals, Dash is standing by here, got a sideline report. He caught up with Gilhoto. Let's see what he has to say.
Thank you very much, Captain Flowers. That's right, we're getting a look at the game as it plays out in real time, but I got 2 questions for you right off the top here, Gilhoto. It's been almost 2 weeks now since we've seen Immortals on the Rift, so I'm curious, with that kind of extra week of time, what you and the team have been focusing on most specifically to get ready for these best of 5s.
So basically we already knew the opponent. Whenever we saw that a matchup would be between Dignitas and AG, we focused the whole 2 weeks in Dignitas. That's what we were expecting. So we were just focusing on ways that we have to play in order to nullify their potential to snowball through bot lane, as well as trying to get Akaadian to or force him to do some stuff that he's not really used to.
Okay, so within that, let's take a look at this game and the way it's playing out so far. We already had that invade and a blown summoner in the top lane. I'm curious for yourself as a coach, what were kind of the words you left the team with these 5 champions at play in terms of win conditions and how they should pilot this game to a victory?
So they have a comp that really wants to go in, and I think that we have good champions to avoid them to go in. So it's just a matter of avoiding any early pressure that Xin Zhao can do. We know that Akaadian usually likes, when he plays his champion, to just permafight instead of playing to farm. So we just have to play with that in mind. And once we are able to get our first items, then we should be able to win the game.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for the insight. I want to let you get back to the player room and appreciate it. Best of luck in the series. Back to you at the caster desk, gents.
And we've already kind of gotten that example of Lucian protecting Zach from the invade. It was an early invade here on the red buff, and they're also trying to force Zach off of the Krugs to defend this potential invade, or rather potential dive here onto Revenge, who has no flash.
Okay, Revenge in some trouble with the root coming down, the CC going out, and the haymaker right upside the jaw for the first blood. FakeGod still got his flash, and it gets him away. Dignitas first on the board.
Gilhoto kind of had Akaadian pegged. He said he's not going to play this into farm. He's going to play this into fight. It's the attempted invade there with Smite used. They go immediately up towards the top side. Look for that dive. They are able to get it.
And don't forget, the Pro View features that jungle matchup, Akaadian versus Xerxe. You're looking at the farming power of the Zach versus that high active carnivorous playstyle of Xin Zhao early. Plenty to be learning from that one, so check it out. You can see Revenge has walked over here into the mid lane. Now let's take another look at what happened in the jungle beforehand that led to the play top.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing here to me is actually that Ryze is getting control over mid lane. Because you have mid lane prio as the Lucian, but because the Lucian had to come around to actually prevent the red buff from being stolen, now you've lost prio. So Lucian's locked at his tower. Ryze uses this opportunity to run straight towards top. They have the wraparound setting up here, so Yusui is behind. FakeGod pulls aggro. Akaadian goes in. FakeGod backing up, using that passive on the W to get the Haymaker through, to absorb that tower shot, making sure he's on the edge of tower aggro to then be able to back out. Like, that was beautifully orchestrated.
Yeah.
Even though Insanity responded well and protected the red invade, they got something from that. They got mid lane control, which led to that dive on topside. And that is really smart stuff from Dignitas that is thinking a couple steps ahead, realizing, okay, I go here, where's Lucian gonna go? He's gonna defend. All right, what happens next? We get control of mid, where can we take that? We can take a top.
And based on what we heard in the interview with Gilhoto talking about Immortals, recognizing how Akaadian likes to play and what Dignitas wants to do and how they want to shut that down, that just shows me this isn't just Dignitas outthinking Immortals. Immortals is aware of what's going on, but Dignitas is outplaying. They are just making the moves better right now. They are setting themselves up for success, which is what you want to see. I mean, hey, we're in the lower bracket, right? If you lose this best of 5, you're done. Dignitas already lost last week to Evil Geniuses. Immortals coming in at 7th place. They're the ones who automatically start in the lower bracket, so you don't have time to make any more adjustments now. Gilhoto talked about, yeah, we spent the whole 2 weeks studying Dignitas. Well, it's time for the final exam.
Exactly, and that's why I think it's so fun to get those sideline reports, and Gilhoto's a great interview. He actually is very honest about some of their prep and what they're focusing on, the fact that they only prep for Dignitas, the fact that they are trying to prevent the ability of Dignitas to snowball through bot. We saw that in the picks and bans. We saw Samira, we saw Kalista, we saw Ezreal all banned away from Neo. They're putting this really heavy wave clear champ of the Syndra down there, trying to actually just shove and back up. You can notice even right now, you know, in the bot lane, when you're looking at the minimap, they're not really contesting the Tristana as much as they're just contesting the wave, right? They kill the wave, they back off, they're trying to avoid where they're expecting Akaadian to be because they haven't gotten intel on him until just now, when he walked over that pink ward on the topside river. So now they're going to be able to move up and shove. And this is all part of that game plan that he's talking about, really playing around the strengths of your opponents, trying to play towards your own win conditions.
And there are some powerful champions if Immortals can keep this game going towards the mid and late game without Dignitas being able to snowball some things with the power of a Tristana or a Xin Zhao. I mean, you've got Viego, you've got Zach, who is an incredible team fighter and engage mechanism from miles away. You and I were even talking before this game started back in Champions Select about how Zach makes games very interesting when he doesn't define the meta, but occasionally gets splashed into it, just because it brings back all those different angles, all those different pathways and opportunities for ganking that are pretty exclusive to him.
Exactly. I mean, you know, maybe Rek'Sai tunneling over a wall, but you have all these extra angles that you can't ward out everything. And I always feel like when you're playing Zach, the game starts at level 5 because you need a couple levels into the Elastic Slingshot to really get a decent engage range. Like, level 3 Zach gank is just like, it's kind of like he just like hops and like rolls down, you know, he's not really going anywhere. Level 5 is where you start to get some threat, and that's why you have to get the levels. You have to protect him on the farm, try to get as much of that scaling activated as possible. You know, he is going to be a threat towards the backline. You know, there is the ability to interrupt the slingshot with things like FakeGod's ultimate, with Akaadian's ultimate, so we'll see how on point they are with that, because that's always something to be frightened about as well. But Dignitas has great scaling too. You've got Tristana Raes, so you're not necessarily like under the gun here to really punish the Zach, because you have range, you have side laning ability with the Ryze, you have the ability to team fight here as well. So I think both teams are going to be really looking towards execution.
And I like the fact that you bring up the Sett ult in particular, just because of the way it scales with the target's HP. It's one of those things that's easy to forget about. It's like, okay, usually he's just going to grab whoever's close to him, throw him into the back line, and then start punching, right? But in a game where tanks, pure tanks, I'm saying, haven't really been popular for a while, we're seeing a lot of those bruiser builds, Core Drinker, Xerxe, whatever, it feels real nice to have this big, juicy meatball to just slam into the back line and do 1,000 damage to everybody.
I mean, it's pretty easy to forget until you get that one game where there's a Cho'Gath on your team and he gets dunked to the back line and everyone's one shot, and you're like, oh, it works like that.
It's like, oh yeah, Cho'Gath had 6,000 health, and Sett just used him as a bomb.
Just delivering the Ziggs ult himself. You gotta
exactly.
respect it,
You become
know?
the Ziggs cosplayer.
He doesn't throw it back
as
there. He
Sett.
is the bomb.
All right, down here at bottom lane, we got Aphromoo level 6, Neo level 6. It's Raes level 7, but Destiny only level 5, and that is a very important ultimate to not be available. We've talked about Zach being this big engage mechanism. Well, hey, I love seeing Zach drafted with something like Rakan that can group everybody up, have a more snappy initiation, and then boom, Zach can follow it up with an elastic slingshot into a Let's Bounce. The chain CC combo for this team is through the roof in a 5v5 if they get their angle.
Absolutely. And I mean, you can even fish to start that off with something like a Scatter the Weak, so they have a lot of ability to actually start out fights here in multiple ways. When you're looking at the Dignitas side, it's much more about a flank from FakeGod or just a hard engage from Aphromoo. It's kind of less engage options there, but they obviously can be pretty powerful here. This is something you're going to see pretty much every good Zac player, Fiddle player will do. You're grouping it up, even if the Raptors reset, just applying the jungle item debuff to them is actually going to increase your health, increase the speed of your clear.
So much.
Exactly.
Skarner does it too.
Yeah, keeps you at full, so there you go. You know all about it.
Oh yeah, I am familiar as Yusui gets ganked here in the mid lane, and there they go. Destiny with a grand entrance, but without the quickness, Yusui can use the flash and get away.
Nicely done. We're going to see what has become a very standard Lucian build here. Very likely going to be Eclipse. We do see a lot of Eclipse, Herald's Grudge. It's kind of just like these builds that are essentially just about the culling, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of all about having this super powerful ultimate, which makes the use of it so incredibly important. If you do have a poor usage of that culling, you become really so much less of a threat. And we see players, as a result, not using it for wave clear as often, not using it in these kind of poke situations. It's more for that potential all-in. Neo will be pushed back here, but not before getting 2 plates. And getting 2 plates early here, both solo gold on that Tristana, is going to feel really, really nice.
Yeah, and Dignitas is all too familiar with the culling after their series versus Evil Geniuses last week. It was the Jizuke mid lane Lucian just absolutely rattling bullets into people non-stop. So hopefully they'll have better tools to deal with it here this time. First Drake of the game does go over to Immortals here. 11 minutes into the game, they will get that Ocean Drake.
And you can see how much of a focus there has been around topside. I mean, we saw that is traded for the Herald. Just look at this section of the map right here. It's all those pink wards set up. They do have one covering them on the bot side, but this is very clearly because they want to play around that corridor. They have Akaadian with the Herald. He's got about a quarter of the time left, so going to be interested to see where he does, in fact, drop it. And my guess is it's for the Tristana.
And one thing I also want to point out about Akaadian's inventory here that is interesting, if you look at his items, it looks like we're going to see the Divine Syndra build here on the Xin Zhao. Lots of times in pro play, you will see the Gore Drinker for the extra active and the burst of healing, but Divine Syndra is going to give him more of that sustained damage against these healthier targets like the Zac. Now, lots of players hanging around the mid lane here. Support and jungler for both teams. Destiny and Aphromoo both have level 6. Ultimates locked and loaded for both sides here. As we're going to see Scryer's Bloom come out from Immortals, they will see that Dignitas is heading in towards this top lane area. Wind becomes lightning, stabs revenge a little bit, but not a whole lot of concern about that one.
Man,
no PvP.
It's going to expire really soon. So
yeah,
I think he's basically just going to have to drop it walking out from base. I mean, if he lets that expire, he's really trolling.
All right, Akaadian, come on, you got to use this one, buddy.
Press the button.
Come on, Akaadian,
Press
summon
the
it.
button.
Don't let that purple disappear from your hands, brother. Just summon it. Okay, there we go. Whew.
Still, I would rather just see you actually do it up on that top side. If they're going to use this to try to get pressure cross map, then I kind of have more respect for that play. But right now, it looks like they just didn't get the play they wanted set up, so it is just going to be dropped down bot lane. But Immortals not really moving to contest at this point. They're not going to send multiple members down, so if it gets the charge off, that tower is low enough because Neo had already taken 2 plates off of it that it looks like it's just going to be a free tower. Immortals not punishing whatsoever here. They are investing a tremendous amount into vision on the top side. This is a ridiculous cluster of wards. This is like, what, 10 wards?
It's so many wards, man. All right, so Shelly does get off a really good charge that will lead to first turret despite the fact that she was summoned up in Timbuktu.
Yeah.
Right?
She got her cardio in for sure.
That is about the best summoning of a Shelly all the way back, barely off the steps of your base that you could ask for. So nicely done from Dignitas, setting it up in a way that Akaadian was able to drop it back there and the wave was in a good spot to still get value. So good stuff, good coordination there that will put Dignitas right about 1,000 gold ahead. You can see your FTX gold advantage there about plus 930. So Immortals are falling a little bit behind here, 14 minutes in with the plates about to fall.
Yep. Not going to be sweating it too much just yet. slowly scaling up. Zach has hit 9, so Slingshot fully max, you would assume, at this point. And that is where you really do have the long range engage available. The range is actually really, really big. At level 5, it is 1800. So, you know, that is like a screen away practically at that point. And
It's almost triple Caitlyn auto attack range.
Yeah. I mean, it becomes really threatening, right? You have to have deep wards. You have to have all the angles covered if you're going to push into an area because of the ability for Zach to start it off from off screen, for the follow-up to be there from Destiny or Raes, you know, layering over that. If you catch people with that, the culling comes over top. It's very, very dangerous. So you're going to have to be respecting that engage, but at the same time, they don't want to be bleeding out as far as the gold is concerned. So we'll see where they're going to go next. And I think I might just be looking towards the dragon here. It's going to be a pretty powerful dragon either way. With Cloud coming up next, it will be Infernal or Mountain. I think both are very valuable here for Immortals. So I would like to see them try to set up in that area over this next minute and look to continue stacking those dragons.
Honestly, we've had a pretty slow game here, aside from that first dive up there in the top lane. Neither side has really been playing super aggressively. Neither side seems to be really willing to take a lot of big risks.
Yep.
So it seems like both these teams are choosing to err on the side of caution here in this first game of this elimination series. Let's see if we end up getting any action here for the second Rift Herald of the game. Dignitas already securing that one. Akaadian picks up the eye. Destiny's got his buddy right over the wall to jump back to safety. So again, no fight, but another Rift Herald goes over to Dignitas.
Yep, and that really is their gold advantage, right? Like, that's all they've gotten for themselves is pretty much the Herald crashing on the bot side, getting them that first tower. We'll see where they want to go with the next one. I always like second Herald when you use that for it to be around a dragon spawn. You know, you drop this mid, get prio there, and make them choose between tower damage mid lane or contesting. Exactly. Or contesting at that dragon. So we'll see if they're going to set up for this. It is 15 seconds until spawn. So they got to get out here now and get ready to fight. Xerxe has completed his first item. You can see Luden's completed as well for Raes. So the items coming through here for Immortals. And everyone's looking pretty comparable, really, besides Revenge. But he does have TP up. And we'll see if he wants to try to base and spend what I assume is a pretty significant amount of gold. Yeah, he has about 1,200 in pocket.
Yeah, that should be able to get him to a pretty nice spot here. Is worth pointing out, too, that we have 3 out of 4 teleports up on the map right now. Dignitas are the ones at a teleport disadvantage. Yusui is not able to join a fight unless he's there the normal way, the organic way, the old school way. And it looks like that means Dignitas as a whole is going to reject fighting for the second Drake. That will be Immortals grabbing both of the first 2 as that second Herald gets the charge off, gets the turret destruction here in the top lane, and Neo and Akaadian should be able to escort it in and make sure they get the second charge here onto the tier 2.
Yeah, not much of an opportunity for Revenge to kind of stop this by himself. The charge will go up, but they're on mid.
Oh, a nice play coming out there, and I believe that is say goodnight to Yusui. Raes picking up the kill credit, getting Immortals on the board for the first time, 17 minutes in.
Nicely chained on the CC there. Yusui never got a chance to play his character. Xerxe going in, Destiny with a follow-up, Raes with a follow-up. There's so much CC to actually.
And that's what we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
The CC power, the chain. If you get caught out, especially on a champion like Ryze, lights out.
Yep, and we can see it one more time here. See exactly how it did start off as Xerxe's off screen to the right, and you know you can really utilize this long range engage, and it is over the wall. You hit the Q, snap them together, no hesitation. Raes and Destiny both immediate flash over the wall to follow up. And I like the commitment to that play. Yes, it is fairly costly. A couple of ultimates, a couple of flashes, but getting that kill here is going to give them prio, is going to get some of the gold back. And Immortals, I think they're in a pretty comfortable position right now. If you told them that you're playing Xin into Zach and you're kind of just even on gold, essentially, this late into the game, you're going to be pretty happy about it. And Infernal Soul's pretty valuable.
Yeah. Same KP, 0-0-1 for both junglers, so it's not like Akaadian's been able to run away with the early game here on this champion that should have priority in the 1v1s against Zach. Now here on the bottom side, remember the tier 1 turret is destroyed on the side of Immortals, so if they find themselves in a bad fight, they will not have that to fall back to. 18.5 minutes in here, 3 minutes before our next Drake spawns, and we're getting to the point of the game where now we have to start asking the question, the gold lead for Dignitas, is this good enough to start just running the show in the bottom side river and stopping the Immortals Drake stack, right? Because an Infernal Soul is a lot of gold's worth of value, so you know Dig's going to start needing to contest those here. Aphromoo barely getting out of the way of the Scat of the Week, and he throws himself down a Solar Flare. Destiny is locked down, beat up, goodbye. Xerxe gets knocked back there, but he's able to find a nice stretching strikes onto 2. Insanity taking a lot of damage, but Akaadian's about to die here first. Revenge getting the kill onto Neo, and now look at the reset. Go even harder. Yusui will be your target. They're looking for a little bit more, and Raes got him. FakeGod against the world, and oh, baby, the world is a big one. Insanity's putting in the bullets, Immortals are putting out the damage, and Dignitas are all going home. Ace for IMT.
Oh, they get the ace. A bloody fight breaking out off of Dignitas there on the invade. Immortals saw an opportunity to go on Aphromoo, and Dignitas saw the fight that they like. They decided to take it, but full commitment there from Immortals. Everyone piles in. And Revenge taking down Neo in the backline, to me, was a critical part of this fight. So the initial play comes in, they're poking away at Aphromoo, but Dig has pretty much everyone here, so they're ready to go pretty much immediately. The ultimate does land, the cleanse comes out from Raes. He's in retreat here. Destiny goes down very, very quick. Insanity having the culling over the side. Neo's low on health though, and Revenge just goes in. W flash executes him with the ultimate, then on Tristana just jumps on Yusui's head. The explosive shot even finishes him off there with the help of Raes. And Insanity has played out this fight in such a manner that he's just kiting it out the whole time. Never really were able to get on top of him and finish off this Lucian, who was getting out an incredible amount of damage throughout the fight. He's got his Cyrildas done off of that. The Void Stab comes through as well. And look at the damage from the bot lane as well as the mid lane there from Immortals.
And hey, FakeGod did a really good job in the fight. He was the only one at that same level. But if your top laner's the one doing the most damage, that means everybody else clearly was not getting it done, right? Going back to the culling that you were talking about, it was that initial culling from Insanity that took 2/3 of Yusui's health, made him fall back. Neo down to 20% HP. He's not in a good spot. Immortals now might be caught out. Raes, you are deader than a doornail, my friend. No way out of that one. Shut down by Neo.
Where's Neo's health?
Well, that one's doing a little bit of a disappearing act as well. Now, Revenge is going to get stunned up. However,
nice
he buffers over the wall. Yes, I know some people in chat are going to say Keck W, remake, bug, WTF. No. You buffer it, you have the 0.25 second cast time, he's going over the wall. It's sort of like a Tristana jump, right? You get stunned during the little scuttle animation, and then she jumps, it's all good to go.
He's charging up. It's kind of like Kamehameha, you know? Like, once it's going off, you can't stop it.
He's got the power of God and anime on his side.
He definitely does.
And he gets over the wall with it. Now we got 2 seconds, and we got ourselves an Infernal Drake here on the map. Raes is still dead for 4, and by the time he respawns, he will not have a teleport to get back out here. So that means we have a man advantage for Dignitas.
Ooh, Xerxe wants to try to go for the steal. They're trying to keep vision here. Insanity doesn't have culling, so I don't see how they can fight this. It's just trying to keep vision, and here we go.
All right, time for the 50-50. Over the wall they go, but the Drake is already down. Xerxe with the flash over the wall, going in for the Let's Bounce. Akaadian's already dead. Make it 2 for 1. Yusui will be the next one to fall. FakeGod with a 4-man clap, but they clap back. A double kill over to Revenge, and that should be Baron.
Man, as soon as Neo bailed out of that fight, oh my God, Insanity!
Oh, he's about to get called! Wait, what? Was he not able to get the last auto attack on Neo? What?
I'm not sure what happened there. I thought he would have been able to. Maybe he didn't have range, or maybe he didn't think he could actually finish, so he wanted to run, knowing that Aphro was coming in. Either way, Immortal's going to be able to finish the Baron here very likely. Neo is coming over. He almost has his heal up. We'll see if they can do anything about it.
Yusui's alive in 5. He has a teleport. They may be able to force IMT off of this. It is a very slow Baron take. Yusui is coming in. Raes goes for the damage onto Neo. Takes him down to a quarter. Aphromoo jumps in on top of everybody. Looking to tank up, but it will not work. Baron's still at about 2,000. Xerxe's got the smite, but he's got to use it early in order to stay alive. Okay, they get the Baron, but now can everybody get over the wall? Yes, it looks so. Raes continues trying to escape. He might be the one in trouble here. 50% HP. Scatter the Weak knocks Yusui away. They do not quite have the cooldown on Realm Warp. It is almost ready, but not just there until now. And Immortals are too far away. So IMT, right there is the power of your early Drake stacking. They make Dig commit for it. They get the kills after, and they earn the Baron.
And that was a scrappy set of plays there. Immortals just barely able to take that one down, to be honest. I mean, Xerxe had to actually smite for health. He was going to die to Ryze over the wall, and then the Baron's about to finish him off. So he has the early smite. They still do finish it. And Insanity is so fed. Raes really strong at this point as well. And Immortals are cruising now. And to me, the key thing here was Dignitas just didn't have the confidence to fight, and they are missing, a number of ultimates, and I think that's what made them nervous. But if you are actually tracking where Syndra is on the map, yes, they don't have vision on Syndra, but you know when Syndra respawned, you know about how long it takes Syndra to walk towards that dragon pit. So as soon as Neo bails out, the fight is just kind of forfeit, right? We never even saw Syndra involved in that whatsoever. So that was a 4v5 that you got slammed. Your carry bails out of the fight early. You lose so much, and that is a...
Here's the... Okay, let's see the pro view of how this... Because it looked like he should have been able to...
Oh, he just had his camera in a bad spot.
Yeah, he had his camera too high. He didn't see the Tristana below him.
And man, his color settings are bizarre. I'm not sure if that's
that is the most saturated Summoner's Rift.
I'm not sure if he actually plays like that or if that's some sort of a weird thing going on with how the replay was, but that looked bizarre.
That was some Alice in Wonderland coloring, dude. That was crazy.
And that shows the value of recentering your camera when you're using these movement abilities, right? Because his camera was actually, kind of adjusted so he could only barely see the edge of Tristana. So when he goes over the wall, he didn't actually have Tristana on his screen, even though he should have if he had recentered it on his character.
Okay, let's see if Immortals can take this even further. Oh, Insanity's very further forward. The man's already dead. What in the world is he doing there? Now the follow-up's going to be more extreme. They'll kill off Xerxe, but they'll only get the passive. A little more work has got to be done, but it will be able to trade Aphromoo back, so make that one a 1-for-1.
Ooh, Revenge is looking.
Raes looking for a little bit more. Revenge is ready, goes for the stun over the wall onto Neo. They're throwing him up into the air, right back out. Execution over the wall. Revenge is going in. He jumps away. Let's see if he wants to keep trying to reset. Akaadian tries to walk away. Yusui dodges out from the scat of the week. Revenge, Destiny, and Raes. Three-man squad from Immortals versus a three-man squad of Dignitas. Immortals continuing to push forward. Destiny goes in for the knockup yet again, but will not be able to find it. Scat of the week will, but nobody else can follow up. Raes is almost out of mana here.
Warp.
Okay, Akaadian's dropped in with a Realm Warp. Doesn't find the wind, becomes lightning. Revenge is here in the front line, but now he's got to be careful. He's right back into the back line, and FakeGod's already down. Now Revenge is ready to reset. Yusui, goodbye. Aphromoo and Akaadian now have to try to survive this one, but Revenge is still going, baby. He is ready to bring this one home for Immortals. A double kill over to the Lucian. More bodies piling up with Dignitas uniforms on them, and Immortals are going straight to the Nexus. Neo versus everybody on IMT. That is a pretty easy bet, my friends. See you, little Tristana. You didn't have a chance in the world. 26 minutes in, Immortals take down Dignitas and go up 1-0.
Finishing it off with a Bud Light ace there. Immortals, what a game. From Insanity as well as Raes, they were crushing. I've got to give so much credit to how Raes was actually playing on that Syndra. There's one of the most common criticisms you see of bot laners in pro play is that they can't play mages at a high level. And this was such a good Syndra game. He was hitting so many scatters in these team fights and skirmishes. He was always playing far enough back that he was never actually getting caught out by the Leona or getting flanked and caught out by the Sett. He was consistently getting damage out.